Having favorites can sometimes get complex and sometimes get a little bit tricky. But for today, I'm not shy to say that the Oppo Reno8 Pro, is probably one of my favorite looking Android devices of all time. Hey, what up? It's your boy MobbJustice back again with another video, and for today we're getting into a review of one of Oppo's flagships from 2022. That is the Oppo Reno8 Pro. Now, this review has been a long time coming, and I do apologize, for the delay in that. I was actually at the launch of this particular device last year here in Johannesburg, and the biggest feature that was touted was that camera, and got to spend quite a bit of time testing it out, feeling it out, and just seeing what it's about. As always, this video is brought to you by the team over at Lion Media. Head on over to check out some of the crispiest photo, video, and audio content. That's www.lionmedia.com. Head on over, check it out, and just see what the team can do for you. Overall, I can definitely say that this is one of the top 3 Android camera systems that I have ever tested out. And in a world where foldables are becoming a thing, slab phones are looking a little bit outdated right now. But I can definitely say that for me, that the Reno8 Pro is probably the best looking slab phone that I've ever had. And that's actually saying a lot, especially given the fact that I'm currently checking out the S23 Ultra, which is definitely a good looking device. And because I have been checking out some of Samsung's latest devices, you can check out my S23 Plus video that I did earlier in the year. I have been becoming a little bit more accustomed to a life where there's no headphone jack on the top or bottom of these phones. Very sad affair, you know how I feel about that. But the Reno8 was actually the first phone that I actually got to spend an extended time with that did not have a headphone jack, and it kind of helped me to adjust a little bit. Still don't like that fact, but it is what it is. In terms of my approach to this review, I was doing 3 main things. Firstly, as we do, I took this phone out on a number of productions to produce a lot of content, a lot of behind the scenes action. Also, just seeing how it compared, as a main shooter, or in line with a main shooter when I was on set, producing content for some of our clients. Also, at the same time, just your normal phone activities, scrolling the internet, browsing the web, Instagram, and the like. And then also a lot of content consumption on what I think is probably a really great screen. In terms of the unboxing, it's the usual Oppo experience that you have on that side. You've got that bright blue packaging in terms of the box, and then out of it you've got the usual reading materials, and then you get the SuperVOOC charger, which has become a staple in the world of Oppo, and it's always great to see some of these devices that are still coming with chargers in the box. In terms of some of the main specs, these will be displayed on the screen, but this does feature a Dimensity 8100 chipset, which was actually quite snappy during my use. You also have a 50 megapixel camera, and that actually did a lot of heavy lifting from my testing. And then you also offer fast charging in the form of that SuperVOOC that we spoke about earlier on. In terms of build quality, it is premium all around, and probably my favorite part of this particular device. You've got great design, you've got glass on the back, and then at the same time you've got those beautiful camera cutouts on the back, which I think are the big standout features. Not only are they big and noticeable, but they definitely stand out and offer something different to what we typically see on smartphones out there. This phone offers USB Type-C in terms of charging and connectivity, but unlike the Reno 7 5G that we checked out last year, there is no 3.5mm headphone jack as we noted earlier on. But overall, when it comes to build quality and design, definitely giving this one a 9.5 out of 10. Looking at the camera, this is definitely the biggest feature that Oppo was touting at its launch event, and the biggest feature that they are going on about. In my own testing, I actually took it on a number of projects and sets, as I mentioned earlier on, and actually made it the main shooter at for one of the podcasts that we produced, just to see how it would fare against a typical DSLR type of image. And as I said, this is probably one of my top 3 Android camera systems that I've ever tested out. You've got a 50 megapixel main sensor, as well as an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel depth lens that is over there. They actually use a proprietary neural engine that helps to process images, and then at the same time it's really great when it comes to photos. I think that is the standout when it comes to this device. There is a little bit of over sharpening that I did note, but very good on the photos, particularly in low light conditions. Looking at video, this is the piece that I care about the most when testing out cameras, just given the type of work that I do and the type of content that we create. And on that front, it does produce up to 4K at 30 frames per second, but you can see that when it comes to video, it does struggle a little bit. You can see the camera and the computer fighting, when you see shifting lighting and all of that. You do see the camera trying to compensate and working quite a bit. And as far as I was concerned, not that impressed by the video quality, and I would say that iPhone still produces much better video quality. So overall, I would say that the camera system is pretty good, excellent on the photo side, but struggling a little bit on video. So for me, giving it an 8 out of 10. In terms of battery, the Oppo Reno8 Pro actually has a pretty big 4500 milliamp hour battery. Unfortunately, there is no fast charging. I do think that when you're looking at flagship devices like this, it would be great to have that wireless charging. However, that 80-watt Superfook charger that is in the box does make up quite a bit for that, because you can get a fair bit of charge within half an hour. Just plug it in and you can see the numbers ticking up. So on the battery, giving it a solid 8 out of 10. As I said, I do wish that there was wireless charging. The phone has a really great screen. As I said, consuming a lot of content on my side. The screen goes up to 120 hertz. Really great for media consumption, and I enjoyed my experience. Unfortunately, I got to see the S23 range soon after experiencing the 8 Pro, which tainted my view a little bit, because Samsung makes such great screens. So when you then do that comparison, it drops a notch on my side. So I'd say it's a solid screen, it's a great screen, but unfortunately it's just not the best that is out there. So on that front, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's good, but it's not the best. In terms of everyday use and what I call livability, I would say this is where my biggest challenge comes when it comes to owning an Oppo Reno8 Pro. The biggest question being, how long can you keep a device like this for, and how much can you sell it for in the second-hand market? These are the types of considerations that a lot of people tend to have. First, how long can you keep it for, especially when it comes to your security updates and your software updates. Android devices haven't haven't been particularly good on this front. However, in December, Oppo did confirm that it would now be offering 4 years of Android updates and then 5 years of security updates to its phones, which is a really good thing. But when it comes to the resale value of these devices, that's a slightly different issue. At the moment, Samsung appears to be holding its value a little bit better in the resale market when you take a look at some of the platforms on which people are selling devices on a pre-owned or second-hand basis. And that's something to consider, you know, if you're going to be investing in a particular ecosystem, because some people like to update their devices, you know, after a couple of years, and you need to know whether or not the device that you have is going to be able to hold its value over time. Another piece to consider is support, and by support we're looking at it on two fronts. The first one, you know, simple thing around, let's say, accessories. How easy is it to get accessories for the device that you have? On this front, Samsung is quite well supported. You could literally go into a lot of local shops and retailers and be able to get yourself a new case or a screen protector for your device. How easy is that when it comes to Oppo? Oppo has been growing around the world, and it's eaten up a lot of market share, becoming one of the biggest manufacturers in places like China and the rest of the world. But in a market like South Africa, I'm just thinking about how easy is it to find some of those accessories. Oppo is very good at putting things like cases in the box. They come with the packaging, but if you wanted something different, how easy would it be to find something like that? And then the second piece of the support conversation has to do with repairability. This is an area where, once again, Samsung is doing very well, because there's so many of these devices in the market, and because they have been in the market for such a long time, you could literally go to any repair shop and be able to find spare parts, batteries, screws, whatever it is, to fix a device if it needs to. And when it comes to owning an Oppo, those are the things that you need to think about. If your phone is to break, how easy is it to get spare parts, especially if you're not gonna go to Oppo itself? A lot of the time people tend to find the manufacturers as being overpriced and tend to go to some of the local repair shops. You know, how likely is it that that local repair shop is going to have Oppo parts? These are some of the things that I was considering when it comes to the everyday use and livability. But if you have disagreements, you can let me know. You know, what do you think? You know, what type of things are you considering? And you know, we can engage. But given those factors, I would say that this is where the phone for me drops off the most, and we're giving this one a 6 out of 10. In terms of quirks, for me, it's still the fact that Oppo uses Color OS, and I think, you know, not a bad software platform on top of Android. However, the one gripe that I do have over its implementation is the fact that there is no universal setting that allows you to black out the top. We know that a lot of devices out there have hole punch cutouts when it comes to cameras and that type of thing, and Android phones had always been good at being able to offer a way to black out the top, something that I wish Apple would do with its iPhone. I think it would go a long way to hide, you know, your notch and that type of thing, but it doesn't seem as if Oppo has a universal way to do that. You kind of have to do it on an app-to-app basis. In terms of pricing and competition, I would say that in South Africa, the biggest competition for a device like this, particularly on the high end, would have been the S22 Ultra, especially given the time that it came out. But now we've got an S23 Ultra that is in the mix from Samsung. But if you are in the US at $600, then you're probably looking at the Pixel 7 range, and at the moment that sits between the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro. So who is this device for? I would say that if you are looking for a great flagship device but coming in at a lower price point, then you know you are probably well suited for a device like this. So overall, when we tally up all of the different scores that we had throughout the video, we come out with a score of 38.5 out of 50. As I said, this is a great phone and a great flagship that's coming out from the guys over at Oppo, and as I said earlier on, this is probably the phone that made the biggest impression on me for 2022. You guys can let me know what you think. You know, do you have an Oppo Reno8 Pro? Are you considering a device like this? When it comes to the livability issues that I mentioned earlier on, are those things that you even care about? What type of livability issues are important to you? Let's engage in the comments. Let's continue the discussion. Otherwise, that's it for today. I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Hey, this is Baby G and you're watching the MobbJustice channel. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Live it, love it, like it. This is the MobbJustice TV.